Greetings, boys and girls. This is Andy Talent, and I've decided to make it my 2026 resolution that I will be reading and sharing the PowerPoint lesson for the Pathfinders. So I hope the Lord will help me and we'll be together doing this thing. So we're going to start with lesson 3, where it is a topic which is written from prophet to prisoner. I'm going to read the memo text, which is coming from the book of Matthew, chapter 11, verse 10. It reads, "This is the one about whom it is written, I'll send my messenger ahead of you, who will prepare your way before you." Have you ever waited to hear from a friend and maybe you had moved to another city, or you've just waited to hear from someone who you love so much, and then maybe you have heard about them from other friends, from other people, and you are anxiously waiting to hear from them, but then some might not even call at all, and some will call later. But then sometimes we find ourselves in such situations, especially with God, when you have prayed so much, and you are just waiting for the answer, and then it seems that God is just silent, He's not hearing. Sometimes it's like that. It's like when we pray to God, and it seems like He has forgotten to answer our prayer request. You know what? That happened with John the Baptist. As you know, John was sent to prepare the way for the Messiah, as you have read from our memory text. And he waited for so long, up to a point where he mentioned that, "Are you the one who is to come, or should we expect someone else?" So his disciples came to him, and then they told him about Jesus, what Jesus was doing in the cities. And then he sent them, "Please go to that Messiah, to that Jesus, and you ask him this question: Are you the one who is to come? Are you the one who I've been waiting for? Or there is someone else who is supposed to come?" He had heard about Jesus, and he knew that there's someone who is performing this task like Jesus. But is he really the Jesus that I'm waiting for? So, during the waiting season, sometimes it's so hard to wait. You're supposed to be waiting, but then sometimes we even doubt to say, is this really it? Should I continue, waiting, or should I just stop? And that's another lesson that you should learn. There is something called patience in the waiting, and then there's also something called faith, and you trust and you hope for the best. When you waiting like John, when you've prayed for something, when you know that God had said yes to this thing, but then now you're not sure because it seems like, God is silent, or the things that are going through during that course of time, maybe it's trials, things are just happening that are very bad, and you might actually lose hope to say, "Yes, God, you had said yes to this thing, but now it just seems like it's not it." What should you do? You should have patience and should trust and have faith that the Lord, the God who had said yes from the very beginning, will continue doing the best for you. He will come through for you. So after John had told his disciples to go and ask the question, they went there, they asked Jesus, "Hello, Jesus, John the Baptist, we are disciples of John the Baptist, and he had sent us to ask you that, are you the one who is to come, or we should wait for someone else?" And you know what Jesus did? He didn't say anything during that time. He just continued doing his things. What was he doing? He was healing people and doing all sort of things, miracles. That's what he was doing. And after the end of the day, they asked him again, and they were even tired. They wanted to go home, and that's when Jesus told them that whatever that you have seen, go and tell John the Baptist that this is what I've been doing. And you know what? When they went back there, when they told John the Baptist what was happening and everything, he said in his heart, this is the one we've been waiting for. Do you sometimes feel, or is there a reason to doubt God's faithfulness? Can there be a reason that you should doubt his faithfulness? When he's promised us something, when he told us that this is what we are supposed to do, can we doubt his faithfulness? Absolutely no. We shouldn't do that. So I just want to go back a little bit, when the disciples of John went to Jesus and asked him, they waited the whole day. He didn't say anything to them. Sometimes it's also like that. When you have asked God to say, should we continue with this, or what should we do? Sometimes it feels like he's silent. Sometimes it feels like he doesn't want to listen to us. He doesn't want to hear what we have to say. But what should we do? And most of the time, we complain a lot, when it seems like he's silent. We are complaining and complaining and complaining. But then there's something that you should be doing during that course of time. And what is that? Pathfinder's PowerPoint lesson, this PowerPoint lesson is teaching us about also gratitude, to be thankful, to count our blessings. When we're facing situations that are difficult, sometimes God just wants us to go back in our lives and have time to see what he's been doing in our lives. Count your blessings. Look closely into your life and see the things that the Lord has been doing to you. Sometimes God will be doing so much for us, but because we have one thing, that we think this one is so close to our hearts and is not doing us, it then feels like we totally forget that there's something bigger, something greater that he's been doing in our lives. So what am I saying? As little boys and girls, and even as parents, sometimes we need to have gratitude charts in our rooms. A gratitude jar, maybe it's a gratitude prayer ring. Maybe you could make that a prayer ring and put it on your bed. To say on Monday, I'm grateful for my parents. On Tuesday, I'm grateful I have school fees. On Wednesday, I'm grateful for my grandparents. I'm grateful for the friends that I have. I'm grateful for life. I'm grateful for health. When we start looking closely for other things that the Lord has been blessing us, and we don't focus on our problems, we will see that the Lord has been gracious to us and has been doing so much good things for us. So don't doubt God's faithfulness. When you think you are doubting, when you feel like I'm now doubting God's faithfulness, I think it's high time you should stop worrying about the problems or the challenges that's been happening in your life, and you focus on the other things that the Lord has been blessing you, and you will see that you have many things to be grateful for, and the Lord will come through for you. So I think that's our PowerPoint lesson and the lessons that I got from that. Let's be grateful to God in the waiting. Let's not lose faith. Let's have hope, faith, trust. We have faith in our hearts. Let's have faith in our hearts, and we trust that whatever is said, he will come through for us, and he'll fulfill all the promises that he had told us from the beginning. Have a blessed week, and don't forget to make your prayer rings, probably gratitude charts, a gratitude jar, something that you should just write down and put the things that you're grateful for in that jar. Write down on that chart, so you see how God has been doing good things in your lives. Be blessed and have a wonderful week.